Yeah, this isn't working. Uh, yeah. Oh, wait a second. We're good. I see it. It's up. I think we're good. This is streaming live right now. This is this is like Joe Rogan JRE episode 1 right now. Is this on? Hello? Is anybody out there? Not seeing it on YouTube. Oh, damn it. God damn it. All right. Yeah. Test, test, test. We made it. We made it. Woo. All right. Well, uh, this is NCO's leading the way, man. Figuring shit out on the fly, clicking furiously, figuring out a solution and getting her done. So, welcome to all the listeners out there that are tuning in on a Thursday 3 during our regular scheduled live hour here on the Hard to Kill podcast. I'm your host, Dave, and today we're just going to have a chat about how to deal or how I deal with the goings on in the world right now. It's been pretty wild. If this live is any indication of how things are going, things need some adjusting. Things need some deconflicting, but we're working things out as they go along, and we're getting her done. We're getting her done. So the first thing is the moment of shill and share. So I wanted to just highlight an initiative that I got started. Now this is important because if you don't know, which you likely don't, because audience is relatively young here, last year was really rough for business. It was just super rough for business because I wasn't able to run ads. It's kind of important when you're running ads to ensure the constant flow of new clients into your business. I couldn't run ads because Facebook just blocked me out. So whether it's a conspiracy to block out veterans that have differing opinions or just random software issues in Facebook, I don't know, couldn't get to the bottom of it. So it locked me out. So that was my sole source of marketing for the longest time. And it was working well. So lesson learned, always have diverse ways of bringing in new clients. So I managed to save the ship from sinking, but lo and behold, 2 years later, I'm back online. So I've got a new campaign, and I want to share that with you. So the campaign is the easiest workout program in the world. So yeah, Mike can bring that up there. So the easiest workout program in the world is actually something that I came up with in the Veterans Getting Fit AF community, and it's literally that. Like, you don't need to drop an email address. So the link is going to be in the description. You need to head to my website at hardtokill.org and go check it out. And Mike, if you want to just open it up there, you can just give them a quick sneak peek. That's the video, me doing some reps. And the actual program, I'll have you guys go look at it. You can hit the easy button up there, as you can see, and it'll take you right over to the program. Simple program. You can get started right away, and that's the point. And from there, we pop over to my Veterans Getting Fit AF community, which is the next level. So you get some results. You realize, hey man, this is good. Like, this is what I get for free from Dave. That's correct. And then you can move over to the community here where we actually do some actual coaching. So it's all on your own time. You can follow along. There's all kinds of programs, all kinds of nutritional support, and we do that every week in the community. And it's at $38 a month, so just over $1 a day, which is more. There's less than your daily Timmy's addiction. Um, so that's more on me, and I wanted to highlight some of the successes that have been going on in the community. So if we could pop over to Amanda's video here. So this is a big deal for Amanda. So we've been buddies for a while, and she's in the community, and she never would have posted a video of her doing any kind of exercise 3 months ago, but she's been working hard in the community. She's lost a bunch of weight, and now she is doing push-ups, and she's doing the 3,000 rep challenge, which is what we're doing in the group right now. I'm doing kettlebell swings. Amanda's doing push-ups. A bunch of others doing squats. My wife is doing deadlifts. It's a really cool way to just stay consistent, have some fun doing it. And then you get a cool t-shirt at the end too. So that's in the Vets Getting Fit AF community, which is something that if you're interested in, the links are all going to be here in the description. Wanted to highlight also an event coming up on Saturday in London, Ontario with VA, Veterans and Everyday Heroes. So Dallas Alexander is going to be performing. It's definitely going to go check that out. It's going to be a bunch of great veteran entrepreneurs and a bike show as well at the Harley Davidson location in London, Ontario. So if you want to show your support and come check out the bike show and then listen to Dallas and support veterans in the process, definitely want to come down to London, Ontario, and give some high fives and some handshakes to some of the boys and gals down in London. And then that brings me to something that near and dear to me and Mike's heart is the Military Influencer Conference. So this is big deal. This is like the big show if you're an entrepreneur and you're a veteran. So this is the largest military-based business conference on the planet. It's happening in Atlanta on the 30th of September to the 3rd of October. It is where the cool people meet, namely Jon Stewart, man. He's going to be there. Jack Carr. These guys are like the headliners. And Donnell Rawlings, Ashy Larry, guys. Ashy Larry, he's a veteran. Did you know that? It's crazy. Oh, it's true. And I didn't know his name was Austin. So Mandatory Fun Day. He's going to be there too. We're going to have a blast. So over and above the fact that it's great for business, it's just cool to hang out with a bunch of folks that you're likely following on the interwebs. This is where the cool kids come to hang out. But me and Mike are helping bring Canadian businesses down. We've got 5 Canadian businesses that are going to be showcased down in Atlanta this year. We've got Corey Hatt from Mad Hatter. We've got 123 Cyber. We've got Educated Beards with Kevin LeBeuf. So these folks are going to come down and showcase their businesses on an international stage. We're getting them down there with sponsorship bucks from Canadian businesses, but we still need to get across that finish line. So we've been asking our friends that have got businesses, they're pitching in $500,000 at a time to get us to our stated sponsorship goal. If you have a company or you just want to support veterans, you're going to get your name or you're going to get your logo up on a big Canada House board that's going to be there in the States, and you're going to be able to be part of the marketing effort in the United States. That's going to be a large marketing effort. Let's not forget to help our Canadian boys and girls get exposure for their businesses and grow their businesses with your help. So if you're interested in that, you're going to have to reach out to me personally. And I'm going to put not only my email address, which is dave@davemorrow.net, but I'm also going to put my cell phone number that you can text me at directly. It's going to be in the description if you are interested in getting these veteran-owned businesses down to the United States and showing the awesome work that they're doing in the business space. So moving on, let's get into the meat of today's discussion on what's actually going on in the world when it comes to veteran land. So this is a post from Valor Legal and Catherine Christensen and her law firm. This may be, I put a reply to this, but if you're a CAF officer that was released from, I believe it's 2002 onwards. Anyways, I think Catherine gave more context to this. So the interesting thing about the way our military is set up is that if you're an officer, you have to be officially released from the military by royalty, essentially. So the king is technically in charge, but he's not going to sign off on the paperwork. So it's the governor general that has that responsibility, and it's a responsibility. It's in the QR&Os. Now, I was a military officer. I released in 2016 officially. there is a possibility that I may not have been actually released from the military, and that is making me laugh out loud, but it's also really troubling. So if you are in that world, if you're a Canadian military officer that was released in recent history, there's a possibility that you're not actually released, which is insane. So you have to do an ATIP. You go to the link that's here, just do an ATIP request for national defense, and then say, you're requesting your own personal information from national defense to see if you were actually released. And there has to be a signature from the governor general. If not, you're not actually released. And Catherine is putting Bill Blair on notice that if he doesn't respond and fix this, she's going to sue the shit out of him because it means back pay, right? I mean, pensionable time. I should have been at the transition center. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that come out of this. So that's that's coming down the pipe. So go get your ATIPs in. And now let's get into the big post, because I mean, unless you were living under a rock, obviously you know that there was an assassination attempt against former President Trump's life, and that happened on Saturday, I believe. So I don't need to show the video. You've likely already seen it. He got a new ear piercing. This is the response from Dallas. Now, I don't think we can get the audio, Mike, on this, unfortunately, because we're on a different platform. But what we can do, yeah, I'm not getting the audio on this side. So I can give you the synopsis. Basically, this post of Dallas, I think you can see here, it's got 1.4 million views. So this is a walk and talk video, right? But Dallas, being who he is, obviously one of the best snipers in the world, he gave his perspective on what the hell he saw, just based off of his own opinion. And what he was saying right off the bat was, well, this doesn't make sense. You can't have a guy at 100 and some yards crawl up with a rifle and get a clear shot of the former president with all the security you have there. This doesn't make sense. So either there's an inside job or gross incompetence, right? And so I bring this up because I know when I first saw the news, I was on vacation on Saturday. I think it was just after supper. And for me, I was like, "Holy shit, this is not good." I told my father. He wasn't tracking, and like I saw in his face, like, "Oh shit, this is not good." And so I spoke to a lot of other veterans. We all had the same reaction too, regardless of your political affiliation. This isn't good, because as much shit talking as we can say, and as much as we can like go into each of our own camps, ultimately we don't want to start the downward spiral of like, well, you killed my guy, I kill your guy. This isn't where we want to go, right? And I know I'm Canadian. I know a lot of us here are listening are Canadian, but the knock-on effects of, if, let's say, President Trump was assassinated, that was what was troubling for me. That was the most troubling thing. My father, same thing too. He's like, "Oh shit, the gravity of this is really bad. Like, thank God he missed," because imagine the knock-on effect, right? Um, I don't want to even imagine it. And no, I know I had a conversation with some other veterans about, well, I think we're going to have some really specific shopping list items for the next few days and weeks, meaning our minds go into, well, we better start preparing. My mind's going into better start preparing. And what's preparation look like? Well, if the worst case scenario is all out war in the United States, it's like Civil War 2.0. Well, what happens up here? I don't think we're immune to what could potentially happen. Maybe we are. I don't know. But I don't want to test that theory. I want to be prepared. So I want to be able to defend my family, defend myself, and in the worst case scenario, be able to get the hell out of Dodge and hole up somewhere. So if that's the case, maybe that's, how you're thinking as well. I can confirm that with a bunch of others. But the bigger picture is that, like, how much can we actually control? And the answer is, like, really, it's nothing, right? Like, we can't control what's going on in the United States. That's way outside of our purview. We can't even control the politics that's going on here. You can only really control how you react to things and how things affect you, right? And so that's why I want to bring up just some Stoic philosophy here. And I just brought up a bunch of different quotes that I use from Ryan Holiday's site, and they're from Epictetus. And you can't see it right now, I don't think, behind me, just because the wide angle shot isn't big enough. But I have just some stuff from the Daily Stoic on my wall to just represent the philosophy of the burning flame, the skull meaning memento mori, meaning like remember death, and then it stands of time, right? So you don't have time. Get shit done. And if we stay with the first few quotes there with from Epictetus, the first one is the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself with the externals not under my control and which have to do with the choice I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. So basically saying, like, how do I control essentially what's going on here? And these externals, do I have any way of controlling what they are? Essentially, no. These externals are coming in and they will continue to come in, but it's essentially how you are able to react to them. And hopefully, it's based on a virtuous principle. Good, evil. Are you acting righteously? Are you acting in good faith? Is basically the main thing here. And then the next one, and it gets a little bit less complex, which I like about the Stoics because they're usually very pragmatic. When I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? For if a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? And I know a lot of us can really fall into that trap, that, of anxiety, because we're worried about the future. We're worried about, oh shit, once the things pop off in the States, oh, what happens now? Oh, what do I do with my family? If you can start putting things into context, see, in this case here, I ask myself, what do they want? If a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? So you have to ask yourself, and I ask myself, well, what is it that I actually want? Well, what I actually want is peace. Okay, well, do I have peace right now? Yeah, and that's really all that I can control right now. I have peace right now. So how about I just enjoy the peace that I have right now and not worry about the future potential of there not being peace? And that's a hard kind of hill to get over sometimes, right? But it's important to kind of keep your central nervous system um, in just a stable uh, stable level where you're not kind of popping off and worried about the future, because that's anxiety, and then ruminating about the past is essentially depression. um, and then the last one um, that I want to go over is yeah, there we go. We got it, Mike. What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. So as soon as you start making the judgments, like, all right, well, this assassination attempt is basically the start of the downfall. Okay, cool. Well, how's that helping? Sure, it could very well be, but how's that helping you, and how's that helping you be a better person? Likely, it's just going to create anxieties, right? So you can address the fact that this may not be a good moment in history, but you can also try to rationalize that there's always going to be shit moments in history. The world is always falling apart. So are you going to actually enjoy life right now and enjoy the moments that you have? Because right now we're doing okay. Man, it's a sunny day out. It's a beautiful day. Kids are healthy. Everything's fine. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to let some externals ruin that experience, because it used to ruin me all the time. Everything was bothering me. COVID was bothering me. You name it. Trump was bothering me. Well, if something angers you, it owns you. And so this is just some wisdom that I'm trying to impart based off of what I've learned over the last few years, and kind of why I have the podcast, is just to share a little bit. And then to touch back onto an old episode that I did with Philip Miller. He talked about the same thing too. He was a paratrooper. Now he's a lawyer. And he said, like, you can get upset about the government all you want. You're not really going to change it. Right? You can have small little changes if you do some community stuff, but ultimately, you're not going to change policy at the highest levels, right? It takes a monumental effort, and most people are not willing to put in that amount of work. So what you can do is enjoy your day, enjoy your family, and live for the moment and plan for the future. But all these other things that are meant to get you upset, like the news, the internet, Twitter, everything like that, if it's constantly getting you upset, then maybe it's time to kind of pull away and enjoy your real life, which is literally outside with your family and your friends. So that's a little bit of knowledge for you that I want to impart. And Mike's pulling up some more quotes here. Oh yeah, Thucydides. Yeah, I like this one. The society that separates its scholars from its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. So one of the biggest takeaways is that the veteran renaissance is real. There's a lot of us that are getting involved and getting activated, and I think this is the best thing that came out of COVID and the pandemic. So a lot of us just like the light bulbs turned on, and it did for me. And there's always something good, like Jocko says, good. Like you got stuck inside and like segregated from your family for 2 years. Good, get after it, make something happen, make some changes. So I think that's what's happening now. We're seeing a lot of good businesses, like I mentioned from the military influencer conference. These conferences are getting bigger and stronger, and there's more people listening. There's more people buying veteran-based products and services. And if you're listening here, you're part of it too. You're supporting veteran-owned company and veteran-owned business, and we're doing our best to convey as much good intel and info as possible so that you can be leaner, fitter, and harder to kill. So that's it for the live. Next week we'll have a much cleaner setup. Fingers crossed we can get that sorted a little bit earlier. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and head to the description for all kinds of discounts and special offers just for you because you are a loyal listener to the podcast. So that's it for me. Thanks again to young Mike in background doing the production, and train hard, fade easy. See you next one. Peace.